Here we go. I'm going to take a crack at ranking all the classes for Despot's Game 1.0 Season 1 on Steam, because the Xbox version is different. This is going to be a little bit difficult to do because there's two different parts of the game, right? You have the PvE and the PvP, and I've done it before, like a tier list in the past, and I usually rank it more heavily on the PvP part, but I do take the PvE a bit into consideration when ranking classes. So let's go in. I'm going to do my best here. Adding the tier 5, the tier 5 troop abilities has really tilted things. And I think there's going to be some balance changes coming. So we'll see how this goes. First off, we have the healers. The healer class they have some mutations that have definitely made them better. You have mutations that will increase a troop's mana. You have a mutation that will increase attack speed, attack damage. They still, at the very best, I believe, are just a support class, and that's it. I don't think you're going to be able to see, you're not going to see these guys getting made very much. It's just not a strong class, especially in this current meta. They're going to be right at the very bottom, I think. I just don't see much use for them anywhere in the game right now. You don't even need them really in PvE if you've played the game a little bit. Once you get used to it, you don't need healers all that much to get through the PvE, especially with mutations like vampirism out there that heal you throughout the run. Okay, now we have tricksters, one of my favorite classes. They also have one of the strongest mutation pools, if not probably the strongest, actually. I take that back. The strongest mutation pool in the game, when you consider just everything, right? They have the delayed pain, they have the dash, faint. There's just a lot of really good mutations there for them. They're also very strong in PvE still, just running through with 5 tricksters. Oh, I forgot, most dexterous. That's probably one of the most important mutations. Giving the other troops on your team the ability to evade attacks more, right? So that's really important. And gives them more versatility in builds. For that reason, I'm going to put them in the A tier. I think that they're just something that you'll see a lot of builds where people have just added 5 tricksters. Their build might be all shooters, like 90% shooters, but they'll have 5 tricksters in there. And that's to take advantage usually of the most dexterous mutation. And now we have tanks. Tanks are, I think, in a much better situation than they used to be. The devs have done a very good job of making them viable. The tier 5 tank ability is really nice, where the ghost armor, dead enemies, it slowly starts to, it will increase the tank's armor, I think, by 10 every dead troop. So it really starts to stack up. I like to put them close to the same level as tricksters. They aren't as good, I don't think, in PvE, but as far as versatility and class goes, they have, with their mass taunt and the right in the heart mutation that removes 25% of enemies' HP, as well as I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, the mutation that will remove 70 mana. Despiritualization, I think, actually is what it's called. It will remove 70 mana from taunted targets, which can kind of, I believe, nullify resurrection on the other side in some cases if the other side hasn't put much in their mana, right? I think I would put them here lower than tricksters, but very viable, and something that you can see where they get thrown in on a lot of builds because they have really good utility. Fencers, I don't think are in as good of a spot as they usually are in this game. They're still strong. I just don't think they're in a great spot because we have so much, there's just better physical damage out there than what they can do. It's not a magic damage meta at all, really. I think I'm pretty happy with having them just stay here in B tier. I don't think they're as viable as tanks and and tricksters. I really don't. You can maybe make them work, but I would say down here in B tier, probably high B tier, is the place for them. And I think we'll see next season. I think we'll probably see them jump up even higher. Though once some more balancing happens, I think we'll see them move up again where they usually are, somewhere in the S and A tier. And then fighters, I think probably the same idea as fencers, where it's just there isn't as much need for them right now, right? They're more of a physical class. Well, I think everybody knows that shooters have been kind of dominant at the beginning of 1.0, and I think that kind of puts them down here with fencers. Just kind of, why do a fighter build when you could do a shooter build, right? So I'm going to leave them here, but I'm thinking that we're going to see them move a little bit too, more than likely. We're either going to see these guys move up more, or we're going to see like a massive swing towards magic damage in the coming seasons. And then we have the big one. Arguably the most unbalanced class that the game's ever seen, and it's I hope it hasn't turned too many people off from 1.0, any new players, because the game has a lot to offer. But currently the tier 5 shooters are just really, really, really busted. It could be, you could make an argument, the most busted anything's ever been in this game. Really, you could make that argument. Cultists were busted for a very long time with the addition of Hail Satan, but I think this is just ridiculously strong. You can rush to getting a tier 5 shooter in PvE, and those guys can just carry you through PvE and then into the PvP part of the game. You don't even need to pick up the other shooters. You really don't need to. You're just focusing solely on that tier 5 ability with the volley shot. It doesn't seem to have a max range, so you can put them in the back line. They don't have to walk at all. It's not affected by the blindness mutation that you can get in the one event. So like you can actually you can lose that and get the blind mutation, and your shooters are blind, but these guys are still have their volley attack. And there's actually like a list of things that that should affect it, I feel like, but they don't. And when I look at this ranking system, it seems like we're gonna have a lot of stuff in here. I feel like I need to add one more row on this, and it's really weird to have to do this many rows, but it's so spread out. We'll just put like just do like an S plus, because they're that good. They're that good that I feel like they're just so good. And now we move into newbies. Well, there's not, I mean, there's been times where mega newbies actually been semi-viable. They're just, that's really what you're looking at, right? The mega newbie mutation that you can get on the floor 2 event. And it's really not that good. So I don't even have much to say about them. Maybe eventually they'll get some more mutations, but right now they're like, you could make another row and put them way, way, way down in the basement. And now we have cultists, kind of like a new-ish thing. And the game is always moving, right? There's always, like, people are always experimenting and you're finding new things. And as strong as these shooters have been, you can almost guarantee that there's always some kind of a counter. It's just a matter of time for people to find that counter. And I think the counter, or the closest thing we have to a counter, is cultists. And the reason for that is their tier 5 ability is they will increase armor in a small area by 50%. So you can actually really, really stack the armor on these tier 5 cultists when they're summoning. So I think that, and from what I've seen from Grandmaster Leagues recently, I would say that they should be considered S tier. And that's like, you do summon build, you don't do the Hail Satan build, you do a summon build, you load up on some armor, and load up on the tier 5 cultists. And you want to get the other cultists too, but you really want to just focus heavily on the tier 5 troops, just similar to the shooter build. And that armor increase should help counter some of the physical damage that the shooters let out. Not saying it's better, but you can definitely make it work against some of the less lucky shooter builds, less well built shooter builds. You can beat some of them. Eggheads. I haven't played Eggheads a ton this season. They did have a lot of success, I believe, in the later portion of early access. I don't even see them often. I've done quite a few runs and nobody's really running them much. Doesn't mean that they aren't good, but the towers do not hold up well generally versus shooters. So I think that's a big problem for them. I'm not going to say they're garbage because I think they still have some versatility. But I'm going to put them down here in C tier because I don't think that just in the shooter meta, I don't think that they hold up very well at all. Now we have throwers. Probably in my opinion, maybe the worst tier 5 ability. Just as the banana bomb, I believe is what it's called. I don't think it really does that much. It doesn't seem like it does much. Very heavy magic build. Some people have had a little bit of success with it, but you also have to have a lot of luck with mutations, getting cleanse, running silence. I don't think that it's that strong because magic just isn't strong this season. So it's tough between A and B. I just don't think that it's that strong. Throwers for the longest time were very, very strong. And I'm going to say that we're going to put them kind of like, we'll put them here, kind of like in between here. These two. You can make an argument for low A, high B, I think. And mages. I really don't think mages are that viable. I don't really like their tier 5 ability either. They made the change. Now the shamans are tier 5. And it's just heavy magic. I don't think that that's very strong. And I'm going to put them down here for now. They do have one of the best starts. The special magic start is one of the best starts in the PvE. But other than that, they're just not that strong in this meta. I don't think that they're that good. I don't have much to say about them really. I think this I personally think this is fair. If you haven't tried a cultist build yet this season, I think, and you're stuck on going up against shooters, maybe try one. You definitely want to try and mix in some. You definitely want to try and mix in these two classes, your tricksters and your tanks, to just get that extra little bit out of your build. You don't need a lot. You just want to have one of each level, right? And that's it, guys. I think that's it. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know what you've had success with, what you want to see change in the upcoming seasons. I think the season ends on October 20th. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. It helps a ton. And I will catch you on the next one. Have a fantastic day.